Hello everyone, my name is Andy B and I welcome you to the tutorial for the Save Render Presets add-on. For convenience, I'll just go through each checkbox and parameter step by step. Most of it is self-explanatory, but if you are still unsure, the tooltip might help you if you leave the mouse cursor over the property. Otherwise, there is also a detailed documentation on Blender Market and Gumroad to find. If there are still uncertainties, you can also write me directly from the platform where you bought the add-on. Let's get started. Download the add-on where you bought it and leave the file as a zip file, because in this form it will be installed in Blender. Open Blender and install the add-on by navigating to where you saved the add-on. After this process, you can delete the downloaded add-on if you want, because it was copied from Blender and moved to another location from where it will be used. Activate the add-on. Now it is very important that you enter a path where you want to save your presets. Otherwise, the add-on will not know where to put the presets and will not work. If you have set autosave, the path will be saved immediately. Otherwise, you can also save manually, so that the path does not have to be entered again and again. Now to the add-on. Include camera settings saves the camera settings of the selected camera. To avoid complications between render settings and render settings with camera settings, the settings are saved in different folders. Load settings to all cameras copies the settings of the active camera to all other cameras. This has no influence on animation, location and rotation of the cameras. It is only about the camera settings you find here in the properties. Save frame range specifies if you want to save the scene frame range you defined here in the timeline. With the plus icon you can create a new preset. With the minus icon you can delete a preset. And with the middle button you can replace a preset. For example, if you're happy with all the settings but suddenly realize that you'd rather not have a frame range saved or a higher sample rate or whatever, you can use this to change your preset. Simply adjust what you want and then press the replace button. In the drop-down menu you can select your saved presets. As mentioned before, two different folders are accessed with the drop-down menu, depending on whether you have inclusive camera settings enabled or not. This has a simply safety reason. If you accidentally load camera settings that you don't want to have, you might get annoyed. But if this should happen because you forgot to uncheck include camera settings, you can always go back using Ctrl+C. With the button copy settings to all cameras, you can copy the settings of the active camera to all cameras in the scene. This button is also available in the camera presets tab in the camera settings. Render settings to text editor writes the current settings to the text editor. The camera settings are also included here if this is selected. What is this good for, you may ask? It has many advantages. First, it makes it easier to share your settings with other people, because you can save your preset in a different place via the text editor menu. Also, you can customize everything even more to your needs. If you have no experience with Python, it doesn't matter. I made it as clear and simple as possible. Just leave the import bpy where it is. Everything else can be deleted and customized to your liking. For example, if you want to save only a small part of your settings instead of all settings, you can just delete everything you don't want here. You can also load the settings into your project from here. Just press the play button in the upper right corner and the saved settings will be loaded. You can also save the settings you manipulated here where the presets are saved. This is also very simple. Go to text, save as, and then choose where you want to save the preset. So you can call it up from the drop-down menu. The preset needs to end with .py or it won't show up in the preset panel. And be careful, don't forget to choose the right folder. For example, if you save a camera preset in the render preset folder and then you try to call the settings without selecting a camera, you will get an error. And that's all. The options in the camera presets are the same as here, just regarding camera presets. Only my much loved set default output name button is still to be mentioned. which automatically generates a reasonable export name for you. The first folder is Blender Exports, and when you export a movie file, the file name is derived from the name of the Blender file. If you export a picture sequence, which is exclusively the case to me, another folder is generated, also derived from the Blender file name with the word sequence at the end. I have never entered a name myself since I have this button. But if the button bothers you, you can remove it in the add-on settings. Thanks for listening. I wish you a lot of fun and time saving with safe render presets. Goodbye.